Hey everyone, Travis here on day 2 of week 4 of the LCS, joined by Montecristo. He flew all the way from Korea just to do this interview. Monty, we just saw for the first time Dexter playing in the LCS with the team, at least since Battle of the Atlantic, and it seemed to go pretty well. How excited are you about like the CLG's, and I hate to use the word potential for the rest of this LCS?
I'm very excited. This is the roster that we wanted, obviously, coming into the LCS here, and it was really unfortunate what happened with Dexter going to jail and then getting, sent back to Germany for a bit, and then a longer than expected actually wait on his visa. But I think now we're feeling good, and everybody's back in their rightful positions. We don't have to position swap anymore the CLG way. We're ending these ways. Yeah. We're ending them. They're gone forever. So I feel good. I feel really good.
I can't wait to replay this part of the interview later on whenever like Link is in the support role and all this kind of stuff.
No, it's not good. We're done with that. Okay. We're done with that nonsense.
Because that was actually when I was watching in the player lounge with Vulcan, or XTG, sorry, and we were making jokes about how like, wow, Link was in the mid lane. What a strange role swap that you guys are playing off. So you've been, how long have you been out here with CLG from Korea?
2 weeks. I leave tomorrow.
So how are you really bummed about leaving? You ready to go back to Korea? Like what's going on with you sort of right now after knowing that you have to leave?
I mean, I am bummed. I love coaching and I love hanging out with CLG. It's fun to be in a very different role. I feel like I'm really lucky that I get to go from casting the Korean leagues and casting all these games to actually not only just talking about the strategy, but developing strategy as well. And that's really exciting. And I find it so interesting to help the team with their voice comm and their tactics and all of this other stuff. We've been, in the team bonding stuff as well, but we've been sitting around and talking about, my primary goal for being here was that I wanted to sit down as a team and not talk about League of Legends, but talk about strategy in general and how basically war has been fought traditionally and how we can apply that to League of Legends, because I think there is a fundamental lack of the core ideas and the principles behind battlefield strategy, and then applying them to League of Legends I think has cleaned up the thought process of a lot of players, and I think we're finally starting to see CLG understand tactics in a more traditional sense.
How much do you think you can do more actually being out here as opposed to being in Korea? Like, is it just a little bit, or are you finding that you can just do like so much more for the team?
Oh, so much more. Clearly, I mean, being in Korea is not an ideal situation for coaching by any means. But in the coaching video, some of the other coaches touched on this. I think Saint was talking about it's hard to find people in North America to be coaches and to have the knowledge and the age as well. I think that being older than the players and more mature is definitely an advantage. But being in the house just changes absolutely everything, because I have more command over the players when I'm on Skype. I don't know what they're doing, and pro players, how they behave. They're always like fiddling around on their computers, and when I'm in the house, I can say, everybody, leave your computers, turn around, circle up, and we're all going to focus on this conversation and not get distracted by Skype and social media and all this other crap that they do. They don't have very long attention spans, so it's much more efficient in that way. And also, during scrims, I do this on Skype as well, but it's easier when I'm there in person. Basically, I wear like a wireless headset while they're all on Skype, and I walk around from station to station, because when I'm watching their scrims, I'm usually only watching from one person's point of view. And so this way I can just kind of hop around and I can, say, okay, I need you to get this item, because sometimes when I'm watching remotely, being only on one person, it's hard for me to tell when everyone is buying items. I can watch maybe that one player or a couple streams. But this time I can go and say, no, you need to buy this now. And then I can run over to Afra and be like, good job, or like, run over somewhere else. It's just a lot easier.
I know that you are the type of person that will look at like strategies that other teams are doing and try to incorporate them if you find that they're somewhat being successful. You mentioned sort of Saint in that coach video. Have you considered subbing out Aframu, making him the coach, and putting yourself in for support?
No. My mechanics are god awful. Okay. Only if I wanted to sabotage CLG from within would I do that.
So maybe if like evil Montecristo shows up or something like that.
That's right. That's when I get put on the payroll by EG, and Alex Garfield starts sliding some Benjamins under the table for the throws.
He's got the money. So he could do it. Looking at what has it been like having to sort of coach this team and this roster that isn't going to be around? Like, it's sort of a temporary thing, because obviously now we have Dexter, but you've dealt with like having hotshot on the team and Choster. How's that experience where it's just sort of a temporary thing? Do you just try to focus on like the broader things? I gotta imagine that's a weird situation.
Yeah, it is. But like I said, fortunately, I guess, I don't know how to phrase that, just because I think we should have already known about how to fix our comms and how to fix our understanding of tactics. But having a sub when we have 4 players and we're trying to work more on basic communication and strategic understanding, it didn't really, I mean, it affected us a lot, but it wasn't an impossible situation to work with. It wasn't like, I don't think CLG is yet at the level where we're kind of implementing very specific strategies, because we're still building that foundation of understanding. And once you have that foundation, that's when you can start getting really wild, I think, because it's all about getting the comm and the tactical knowledge up so that you can react appropriately. And also, I've worked with Chowster before. Chowster's a great guy, and he came in and performed really admirably. Going 2-1 with last weekend with Chowster was good, and he knows how to. Obviously, he knows the team. He knows how to communicate, and it was fine. It was a fine switch. Hotshot, I hadn't worked with Hotshot before in that role. It was so that was a little more uncomfortable for me. But Steve Chowster was awesome.
You are a very outspoken person in the community, and there seems to be a lot of people in the community that absolutely love you, and a lot of people in the community that absolutely hate you. I'd love to just sort of know, just because I think everybody who has done any kind of public-facing esports role, it has experienced the strangeness of having the community sort of constantly discussing you and defending you and attacking you. I'd love to know, for you, who is, you're probably more outspoken than most, and especially on subjects like Korea's dominance and strength. What is that like? Do you just sort of shrug it off, or how do you deal with it, really?
Well, on the subject of people liking me or hating me, I've dealt with that that's my entire life right there. It's just my personality, right? It's not like this feeling of people of either intense like or dislike is not at all new to me. It's just who I've always been. I think it was harder at first for me to deal with it, but it's a lot easier now. And, I just don't pay attention to that stuff. I have a vision of what I want esports to be and what I want my commentary to be and how I want to interact with the community. And I don't want to patronize people, and it's my job to be an expert in League of Legends. And I think that my goal is to be as honest as possible with my opinions to the community. And sure, they're just opinions. You can argue with them all day, but I spend my entire life watching the game and thinking about the game, so I think I'm more qualified than many people to have these opinions, and I'm wrong just like everybody else is sometimes. And it doesn't really bother me anymore what people say. It's easy to ignore it, and you can't take that stuff too seriously. As a professional, you have to have faith in your ability to do your job, and you have to have faith in your opinions and your own knowledge and background, or lack of faith. If you don't know something, I'll say I don't know. I have no problem doing that either. So, it can be hard, and I think you'll probably agree with me that, some days it really gets to you. Yeah. Some days it really gets to you, and you really feel like shit. Other days it's really easy to ignore. Yeah. Just depends on my kind of emotional status at the time, but...
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Sounds about right. Hey, talking about things that you do know about and you are very qualified to have opinions on, you're headed back to Korea tomorrow. What is going to happen in Korea? Are we going to see another clean sweep soon?
Oh, I have no idea. Most of the rosters have stayed the same. Masters will be really interesting, the new tournament where there may be some mixed rosters. That's going to be coming up this next week. I will be casting that with Chobra.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's going to be going really well. Should be a good time. Jover's a great caster, great host. I'm looking forward to working with him more. And yeah, I think that there are a lot of strong teams still in Korea. There's been a lot of roster changes. I think the roster changes have been really good on the whole. Kind of Zenix Storm exploding actually created a lot of good free agents to be absorbed by other teams like Coco by Frost. So that's going to be good, and I'm really looking forward to the next season of Champions, which should be coming up in about a month or so.
Great. Sort of combining everything that we've talked about in this very short space into maybe one bigger picture. You are, again, you get a lot of flack for your opinions on Korea being so strong. People say, hey, you're coaching an NA team. Why are you saying this? You respond by saying, I coach NA teams because I want NA to be stronger. So I'd love to know, what do you think is really missing? Do you think that, and do you think that there's a chance that we're going to see NA rise anytime in the short term to be able to compete at these higher tiers of international play?
Probably not. Unfortunately, I don't like saying that, but we're still developing the infrastructure here in North America. I don't understand why people take it so personally. It's just that Korea has had 15 years of experience on us, and we just can't replicate. You can't build this infrastructure overnight. It takes time to develop, coaches, to develop talent, to woo major sponsors, to get the money so the players can focus more on the game and there's more at stake, which in turn makes a better amateur scene because people want to break into it more. So it's just, and Riot has done, I will say, an amazing job of kickstarting this and accelerating the pace of this development. But I do think it's going to be a couple years until we can, compete really with Korea, and that's just I see the differences between the way teams are run here and when I'm in the thick of it in Korea, and we just need more money, we need more time. I may go into coaching full time at some point. I think long-term career goal, I would really enjoy doing that, but there's just not enough money here right now to make it a smart career choice for me at the moment. And I think I need more experience before I make that dedication as well. I'm the first one to say I'm still learning how to be a coach. I'm very honest about that. I don't compare myself to these Korean coaches who have been doing it for a decade. That's ridiculous. But I try and talk to them, and I try and see what they're doing and emulate it, see what works for Western players as opposed to the Korean players. And yeah, I hope, man. I would love NA to win Worlds. Like I really, really, really would. But
TSM, right?
Yeah, sure. Whoever.
TSM. I do want to say that I would assume, you mentioned that some people are like, why can't you come over and coach full time? I would assume at the very least that being embedded in that really strong Korean infrastructure, at seeing how the coaches coach, seeing how the players play, probably helps you grow a lot as a coach. I would assume, right?
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, I try and see what I can see and talk to who I can talk to, and make those shifts and see what I do like, see what I don't like. But yeah, I hope so. It's just I think the main issue with coaching right now in the West, like I said, is like if I look at my career, it would just be like financial suicide to go coach at the moment. As soon as more sponsors come in, and as soon as the teams I think are more financially stable, then we'll see a lot. It's just about developing that infrastructure.
So what if CLG fans ran a Kickstarter to get Montecristo over here full time? Would you consider it then? Like, okay, guys, and then you can have tier awards. Be like, okay, here's where I do it half part of the time. Here's where I do it here. Here's where I also coach like an amateur team for CLG. Is that a potential?
I mean, yeah, maybe.
Crowdfunded coaching,
but I probably wouldn't even consider it before the end of 2014, just because I want to, with Worlds being in Korea this year, I really want to see out the end of this year. And, But yeah, like I said, long term, I think that I don't want to be casting forever. I don't think my personal feeling is like it's not good to be a caster like past a certain age. And so going into coaching would allow me to make that transition. And I think my long-term career goals in the next couple of years is to kind of transition out of casting into more coaching as well as shows. Like I think what Worlds made me realize was like I actually have more fun like on the analyst desk than I do casting. And so if I could do that more full-time, I think that'd be great. But this is all speculation. As we know, esports is moving so quickly that my answer to that question could change in 6 months. So you really have to keep an open mind. It's just, I mean, it's a rocket, and no one knows where the hell it's going. So,
final question. I know that Esports Express revealed a strategy that you guys use. I'd love to know, is this something that you have gotten from watching Korean teams play, or what is the deal? I mean, you have it here with you.
No. Korean teams, they don't use the magic spinners. I think this is a unique Esports Express. I mean, we're really upset when they kind of broke the story because we didn't want other teams to start using our magic spinner strategy. But once the cat was out of the bag, you really I had to show the fans, give them some insight into CLG's coaching methods and our thought processes. But no, Korean teams, I think we're really ahead of the game on this one.
Do you ever spin it and find yourself really hoping for one of the options over the other? Like subbing Kobe in would probably be pretty interesting, I think.
Of course, yeah, we really want to see Azumu again. I always hope for the trash talk one though.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You have anything that you want to say here at the end?
No, just thanks to CLG for bringing me out. It's been a pleasure to be here in the new studio. It's been a pleasure to be interviewed by you, sir. So it's been a good time, and I'll be sad to leave NA.
I'm sure all the NA fans will miss you as well, Monty, whenever you leave. Thanks everyone for watching, and check out the rest of our coverage of the LCS and more at ongamers.com.